Hey friends, welcome to Story Orchard. Here, stories are not just for fun, they also make your English reading and listening better. Let's dive right into today's story. Family is supposed to be the safest place in the world, a place where every member feels equal, loved, and valued. But what happens when love is not equally shared? What happens when favoritism slowly poisons the bonds of blood? This is not just a story, it is a mirror of many homes where love is distributed unequally. Ayan grew up in a middle-class family of five his parents, elder brother Samir, and younger sister Hina. On the outside, their home looked normal. A father who worked tirelessly, a mother who managed everything, and three children who were expected to succeed. But inside those walls, a quiet storm was always brewing because favoritism lived in that house. Samir, the eldest son, was always praised. Every achievement of his, whether big or small, was celebrated like a festival. Samir got good grades again. Samir is the pride of the family. These words echoed in the house every day. Ayan, on the other hand, always felt invisible. No matter how hard he tried, no matter how much effort he put, his achievements were seen as small, insignificant, and never enough. Can you imagine the pain of giving your best, only to be told it wasn't worth noticing? Hina, the youngest, was the princess of the family. Every demand of hers was fulfilled without question. She wanted new clothes. She got them. She wanted expensive toys. She had them. She wanted attention. She received it instantly. Ayan often wondered where was his place in all this. Did his feelings, his needs, his existence even matter? These questions haunted him every night. Have you ever felt like you were fighting for attention in your own family? Like love was a competition you were losing every single day? That's exactly how Ayan felt. At school, he worked harder than anyone else. He studied late at night, participated in debates, played sports, and even won competitions. But when he brought those medals home, his father barely glanced at them. His mother said, "That's good, but look at Samir. He's preparing for medical school." The comparison was endless, the praise was one-sided, and Ayan's heart was silently breaking. Favoritism in family is like an invisible wound. It doesn't bleed outside, but inside, it tears you apart. And slowly, Ayan began to lose confidence in himself. He questioned his worth every day. If his own parents didn't see his value, who else would? Yet life has a way of testing us. One day, their school announced a major inner-city competition. It was about innovation and creativity. Ayan's heart sparked with hope. Maybe this time he could prove himself. Maybe this time his parents would look at him the way they looked at Samir and Hina. Do you see how a child's whole sense of worth can revolve around just a few words of validation? Ayan poured his heart and soul into his project. Nights turned into mornings as he sketched, built, and refined his idea. While his friends played outside, Ayan kept working, dreaming of the moment when his parents would finally say, "We're proud of you." But inside, a silent fear always whispered, what if they don't care again? On the day of the competition, Ayan's project stunned everyone. He won first prize, received a trophy, and was praised by teachers and judges alike. His photo even appeared in the local newspaper. For the first time, he felt like he had finally done something that could not be ignored. He rushed home, his heart racing with excitement. He placed the trophy on the table and showed the newspaper to his parents. "Look, I did it. I won," he said, his eyes glowing with hope. But his father barely looked up and said, "That's fine." But Samir just cleared his first entrance test for medical school. That's the real achievement. And his mother quickly added, "Yes, Ayan. This is good, but Samir's success will change our family's future." And just like that, Ayan's happiness was crushed in seconds. The trophy that meant the world to him suddenly felt like a piece of meaningless metal. Can you imagine that heartbreak? Winning the battle, but still losing the war for love? That night, Ion sat in his room, staring at the ceiling. He asked himself, why was he never enough? Why did his parents' love feel like a privilege he could never earn? He cried silently, the kind of tears that no one sees, but that carve deep. Scars inside. This is the tragedy of favoritism. It doesn't just break relationships, it breaks identities. It makes children doubt themselves for years, sometimes for their entire lives. And that doubt often follows them into adulthood. But Ion wasn't the type to give up. He decided if his parents couldn't see his worth now, one day the world would. One day, his success would be so bright that no one could ignore it, not even the family that failed to value him. Have you ever felt that fire inside? That burning desire to prove yourself to those who doubted you? That was the spark Ion held on to. And the spark was about to take him on a journey he never imagined. A journey filled with struggle, resilience, and painful realizations. Because favoritism was not just shaping his childhood, it was shaping the person he would become. Years passed, but the invisible wound of favoritism never truly healed. The boy who once sat quietly at the dinner table now became a man of achievements, yet inside he still carried the pain of being unseen. His parents continued praising his siblings at every gathering, his sister's perfect grades, his brother's charm, while his own milestones were brushed aside as if they were accidents, not results of hard work. Even success tasted bitter when there was no one in the family clapping for you. One evening, everything finally broke. The son stood in the middle of the living room, his voice shaking but filled with years of anger and sorrow. Why was I never enough for you? He asked, his eyes wet. His mother began to cry, his father lowered his head in shame, and for the first time, the silence in that house was heavier than any words. The siblings too looked stunned, realizing how blind they had been to the unfair love showered upon them while their brother carried emptiness all alone. That night became the turning point. The family was forced to look in the mirror and face the cracks they had created through favoritism. It wasn't an easy healing, but it was the beginning. The ignored son finally spoke. The guilty parents finally listened, and the family finally learned that love loses its meaning when it is divided unequally. Favoritism doesn't just wound one child, it wounds the whole family. Thanks for listening with Story Orchard. Share your thoughts below, hit subscribe, and let me know where you're watching from. I love reading your comments.